Hi everyone, it's Wednesday. It's about 12 o'clock on Wednesday. Sorry to those of you that contacted yesterday and are awaiting a reply from me for a variety of things. The IT system at college is down, which you may have heard via the website or some other means, but I don't actually have any way of contacting you at the moment. So hopefully when you watch this, that'll all make sense. I'll try and get this out to you as soon as I can. So sorry about that. I'm going to do a track, go through a track which is one of the last remaining requests that I've got for a specific piece. And one of the things I would have liked to have done with this one is do it live via Zoom. So invite you to a Zoom meeting where you could see me do it and help me, or I could help you, vice versa. Make the chart of the tune live via Zoom, and then I could be teaching you more about how to do that and how I do it, and you could ask me questions along the way, and we could listen to the music and just explore it and learn it, like a music lesson. Cool. The track is, sorry, things are getting pretty excited next door. The track is called Door by Alfa Mist, who is a musician in the kind of space that Jordan Rakei or Loyal Kana, Yusuf Days, Tom Mish, he's friends with those kind of guys. Incidentally, I don't think he has a wiki page, so I didn't find out too much about him, but I've seen him around on lots of videos and things like that. He's a piano player and a composer and a producer. This track is really cool, and it really got me thinking when I started reading some of the YouTube comments on it. There's one in particular that really got me thinking. So bear with me here, okay? I'm going to use this opportunity to try and teach, because I've been reflecting so heavily on where the value is, what the point of these videos is. I know some of you have been asking those kind of questions. So we'll try. I'll try and make this worth your while. Right, firstly, let's learn this song. Okay. So first thing to know is that the song is in 3/4, like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you get this riff which is on a D sus2 kind of shape, which should be familiar. There's D major, there's D sus2, D, E, and A, and it repeats around like this. Etc. Okay, so that's the right hand piano part. Now the chords that happen underneath that are slightly more complex. The first one creates a D major chord, but it's a D major over A. It's actually like a D sus2, or D add 2 rather, over A. So that's A, F sharp, D, E, and A. We're going to keep this in every chord just for the time being. And you get A and F sharp in the left hand, or on the guitar. So that's actually a D major chord, but it's A in the bass. You get then this, which is implies an A minor kind of sound over C, if you like. There's A minor over C, but it also implies a kind of C major 6 sound, so it can be either of those really. C, A, D, E, A. Let's just leave it at that for now. Those are the notes, and then the third chord. This is definitely in the B flat major 7 sharp 11 kind of territory. The B flat, that's a G, D, E natural, F if you want. We'll leave the F out. A. Okay, and that cycles around, so you get this. Next section, this stays the same, and we have major underneath the D sus shape, and then G minor under the D sus shape, which creates a kind of G Dorian sound. That's the scale of G Dorian. So like G minor, this chord is G minor, but with that E, which is a major sixth. Now that's really important because this track has something which is potentially a little bit awkward about it, for some of you at least, which is that it effectively uses this scale. The song is in D, but it's not necessarily in D major. It's in D mixolydian flat 6, which is the fifth mode of G melodic minor. So that's D major, flat 6, flat 7. So D mixolydian, D mixolydian flat 6, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B flat, C natural, D, or G, you know, the kind of the parent scale, if you like, is G, A, B flat, C, D, E natural, F sharp, G natural again, which is G melodic minor. And you can hear that sound. That's over the beginning. Here we go. Then there's another section which I don't know very well, so I might get this wrong, but I'll play along with the track in a minute and we'll get it right. Okay. D minor to C major, and then D major to B flat, major 7, and then where do we go? I think there we go. B flat to A minor, A minor 7. Go to C major, and I think that's the change section there. D minor, C major, D major, B flat major 7, A minor 7, sorry, the B flat major 7 chord to the A minor 7, and then to C major, which gives you that mixolydian kind of sound, or that mixolydian cadence into D major. So let's play along from the beginning. Hopefully this will make sense, and then I'll show you something else. Here we go. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the interplay of the G Dorian, the G minor kind of sound with the B flat, but with the F natural, and then the D mixolydian flat 6, which is where we get the F natural of D major. Change section, D minor to C major. D major, B flat major 7, B flat, A minor, C major, D minor, C major, B flat major, B flat, we're still in 3/4, A minor, C major, and then we're back in the main riff. This is a really great song. Another fantastic choice. There's a beautiful section at the end, which we could skip to, which has got strings. Let's just find that as we listen to a bit more of this music. So there's a trumpet solo. Sorry, it's not very smooth. Okay, so we'll have a listen here. So it's over the B section. So that's cool. Really nice piece of music, and it's got the really interesting ending. Cool. Sorry, I need to go flip mode here. There we go. Sorry, Busta Rhymes quotes for you Busta Rhymes fans. Okay, let's move through. I need to scroll through some comments here, so you can see what I listen to on YouTube here. Where do we go? There we go. Got some Radiohead vibes. Nice. That's this comment here. Got some Radiohead vibes. No kidding. Really reminds me of this song a little bit. Back Like Sardines in a Crushed Tin Box. That song goes between D minor and C major also. Maybe that's what they were meaning. But, you know, lots of Radiohead fans amongst you guys, so you can make up your own mind about that. Right, speaking of Radiohead, hopefully here's quite a good link. I hope this works. Okay, so we've learnt the Alfa Mist track, but have a read of this. Jonny Greenwood, you've heard of him. The quote here, this is from the Guardian headline. This is an article from October the 9th last year, 2019. Instead of cocaine, hook me up with a recorder group. Okay, that's a pretty decent headline for an article. This is an interview with him as he launches his new record label called Octatonic. If you haven't come across it, well worth checking out, because it features some really, really excellent young composers. Now, it's described here in The Guardian, this record label is described as a classical music record label right there. Now, that's a description that Johnny Greenwood gives it, not The Guardian. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to show you here in this, but whilst I'm just finding the right spot here, there they are at the Proms, playing a piece by Johnny Greenwood that was performed at the Proms. He's been heavily involved in classical music for a long time. There he is with Radiohead, his rock band, which are, well, we know all about them. Okay, so let me float this out to you. How would you feel if Johnny Greenwood was your music teacher? Okay, so if you walked into the room on an average class and he was sat at the desk about to teach your class, I think lots of you would be quite into it. And I wonder what he would promote. I wonder what he would teach. That's really interesting. I'm sure you guys would be like super respectful to him if he came in. I mean, he doesn't even like giving interviews. So, I mean, his time is, you know, probably fairly precious and probably pretty expensive. Anyway, this is a great article, so do find it. You know, you'll come across it quite easily because he gives so few interviews. But it's interesting here. He talks about young classical composers and people he's featuring on his record label. Two names for you, which are interesting because they're both people that I know very well, which is Mika Levi of Mikachu and the Shapes. I quit her band when I was at Guildhall because I wasn't enjoying playing in the group. That was before Mika Levi and Mikachu and the Shapes became quite a big deal. So that I always like telling you guys that because it's funny. And Edmund Finnis, Johnny Greenwood mentions Edmund Finnis. He's a close friend of mine. I've played lots of his music because I studied with him alongside him when I was at Guildhall. Right. So he talks about all kinds of different stuff. But let's just have a look at this. Okay, so the journalist writes here, isn't running a classical music label less exciting than playing guitar in Radiohead? And then here are some quotes from Johnny Greenwood. This is Johnny Greenwood. People assume it's a fuddy-duddy world, Greenwood says, but a violinist can do more with their bow hair than anyone can with a guitar or synthesizer. That's Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead that said that. Then their left hand, each of their fingers, a whole universe of sounds. So there are some things missed out there. But, for somebody who's, fairly advanced in the world of music tech, that's a pretty decent plug for playing instruments as well, and learning them and studying them. The article continues. He insists this enthusiasm isn't only about the superiority of classical instruments to electronics. I'm not sure I agree with that statement. I wouldn't be as severe as Johnny Greenwood is there, although I think that's the journalist suggesting that. But anyway, I'm not sure I'd agree with that, but here we go. And here's a quote from Johnny Greenwood again. I've seen bands setting up by plugging a lightning cable into an iPad, and that's the show. And modern electronic music can feel like that to me sometimes. He's asking the question, where's the effort? What's at stake? Seems to me to be lots of men standing around watching another man, and no one's dancing, and there's not much joy. I don't think classical music is old-fashioned at all, especially when 20-year-old kids are doing it. I haven't played with musicians like this since school days. It's so exciting. So he's talking about the young musicians that played in his prom. But also, in some ways, he's talking about you guys being music students. Well, I hope he's talking about you guys. Okay, now this is really important here, and I'll just read this. Like so many children, Greenwood's first instrument was the recorder. Unlike many of us, however, he fell in love with his. He played Baroque music in his teenage recorder groups and then joined the Thames Valley Youth Orchestra, where he developed a love of Sibelius, who is a Finnish composer, and Messiaen, who is a French composer. But the power of the humble recorder never left him. This is a quote from Johnny Greenwood. Oh, I could easily talk for an hour about the recorder, he says. I mean, that would be an interesting lesson for you guys, wouldn't it? One of the great joys of playing American sports arenas with Radiohead is their amazing communal showers. I'll get to the venue early, seek out these rooms that smell of deep heat and jock straps, and get out my recorder, play one of Telemann's, who's a composer from the German Baroque period, one of Telemann's canonic sonatas, that's a type of piece, and just be swamped in this flattering reverb. I have fantasies of putting demands on the rider, instead of cocaine and call girls, hook me up with a really good amateur recorder group. It's sick, isn't it? And I get very, very happy when I can show you quotes like that. That's one of the biggest rock stars on the planet. Infusing about the recorder and all that goes with that, classical music, quote unquote, or just the study of music. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Effectively, I'm trying to meet lots of you in your world and in the world of musical study. And why am I teaching the way that I teach? Because I think it's really, going back to where we started in this video, I think it's really hard to learn the sounds of Door by Alfa Mist unless you understand D major, D minor, D mixolydian, and D mixolydian flat 6. Okay, that's quite the quote from Johnny Greenwood there, and I agree with the guys on YouTube there. I do think that this track sounds a bit like Radiohead. Okay, hope that makes sense. If you'd like more information about the track by Alfa Mist, drop me a line and I'll send some more. I could do a rhythm lesson on it if you like to. Let me know. Okay, thanks for watching. If you did, cheers. Bye.